Hi everyone. Today we're going to go through printing a STL file, which is a 3D file, to your new 3D printer and downloading it or getting it from a different source. So if someone sends you an STL file or if you download an STL file, how to get it to an actual printed product. So you're going to need a slicer. That's the first thing you're going to need to actually what it does is it slices the software, which I'll show you in a minute, and it prepares it to print on the 3D printer. I recommend getting the Ultimaker Cura. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It's free, and there is a different version that comes with your 3D printer if you have a Creality printer, and you can use that as well. But I recommend downloading the latest from ultimaker.com, which here I'll show you is the web address up top here. And download that. It's free. Install it. When you install it, it's going to walk you through setting up your printer, tell it what kind of printer you have, and then go through the setup of it, which is really simple. And then that's it. So once you get to this screen here, once you're running, you should have your printer, the generic PLA. If you don't, you can just drop this down for material, choose generic PLA, which should be set by default. And then you have a bunch of stuff over here. Most likely yours is going to look like this. And what you're going to want to do is click custom, and it's going to give you a bunch more options, and we're going to go through them. And so for example, if you don't see some of the options that I have here, top, bottom, all you got to do is come up the top, bottom, and click on the little gear next to each section, and that will bring up your different settings, and you just check the box next to the one that you want to be visible over here so you can choose its options. A great idea of that is support. I have a bunch of different options for support that you probably don't have as a default because I like to customize my settings. So, and that's the other thing here. If you move your mouse over top of like this generic support to the left here, it shows you what that means. And you'll notice it keeps popping up on my screen. Just kind of give you an idea what each setting does. Support density, how thick the support is going to be, and so forth. So let's go ahead and download, or we didn't even download. We're going to show you where to download and then what to do with the file. So let's go to my other screen here, and one of my favorite websites is Thingiverse, and pretty much this is a free site. It has just all kind of stuff that people do, like this here as a zip tie mount for for your 2020 rails, which is really super nice. So if this is something that interests you, you just click on it, and it shows you what it's for, how it works, the different styles, designs that the person may have put in there for you. And then if you scroll down a little bit, there's the summary, and there's the thing for print settings, and a lot of people tell you how they're printing it, infill, supports, different things like that, plus the descriptions. Then you have the things, which are actually the STL files, or sometimes they give you the 3D files. It really depends. They're all different. And then you have people's comments. This is just a way for you to learn the site. But for any of the examples, you would just click on download. For example, this one, click download, and you download the file, and then you'll open it. For this example, I'm going to give you a file that I use on my 3D printers that is a tool holder, and it's from Eurohome, and I'm going to put a link right here underneath of the description where to download that file from. And you're going to download that STL file, and then you're going to import that, or you're going to open it and bring it into your Cura. So before we go on to that, you don't need to download any of these right now unless you really want to, but I just wanted to show you the two sites that I really like is Thingiverse and then Cults 3D. Cults 3D is pretty good too. Unfortunately, not everything on Cults 3D is free, but they have a lot of good stuff on here, and sometimes it's worth it. People take a lot of time to, design these things. It's worth a couple dollars or whatever it is for the print design. Their website is not the fastest by far, but either way, it's the same exact thing. You download the STL file. The STL file goes on your machine. You pull it into Cura. We set the settings, and then from there we copy to a disk and put it to our printer. So let's go back. Download the file right there under the description, and the file is going to be called. Let me see here. Let me go back over to my screen here. It's going to be called Eurahome Tool Holder, and it's an STL file. Let me move this over here for you. As you can see, when I clicked open, it's going to be this file right here that you're going to download, the Eurahome Tool Holder, and you're going to click open from your Cura, and you're going to navigate probably to your downloads is where you had it, and then you're going to click open, and it's going to come into your Cura just like that. If you didn't quite get it there, just pause this and then come back to it. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to use your mouse wheel and scroll inward, and you're going to zoom into it. And if you hold your right-hand mouse button and drag slowly, you can actually navigate around and see what the actual design is, where you have everything. And I personally like to go right up underneath. And the first thing you're going to notice is the red areas. The red areas show you what parts are going to be a problem that are not going to be on the build plate. So in other words, if you're looking at it from the side, the printer can't print in midair. So you're going to need what's called supports to hold this up. If I zoom in, you're going to need supports to hold these up here. So for example, if you took this and let's say we rotate it, hold on here. Let's say we turn it, and if this is going to be on the build plate, if you'll notice now, all the red areas, this here is going to fall, it's not going to work. That's going to fall, it's not going to work. Same thing, even something as small as this little area here, it's not going to work. So that's why what you do is when you bring something in, you want to try and set it on your plate with the least places that are going to need supports. So in other words, this is probably going to be my best right here. But what I don't want is support under the names here. Just for me specifically, I'm not going to need it. But for this tool holder, we're going to definitely need them for right under here. So let's go up to quality, and we'll just go down my different settings. Like I said, if you don't have some of the settings that I have here, just click on the little gear and come over and just check the box of the ones that are there. If your first settings look like this here, just click on custom, and you'll see all the settings come in. If you want, if you click on standard, go back to standard, we're going to discard changes. So everything's going to be default right now. So you'll notice is if I click slice and you come up here to preview, what you're going to notice is that it did not build any supports here. And when this tries to print this is all going to just fall. It's not going to work. So what we want to do is go back to prepare up top and then go to standard. I personally, let's see, your infill density is how thick it's going to be. So 20% is the default, and it's fine for this. If you want it really thick and just one complete solid piece, you can just make it 100%. Otherwise, 20 is fine for this. Your different types of infill pattern, again, I leave a default, but there's all different kinds. You can learn all about them, what's strong, what's not strong. My print temperature, build plate temperature, on my particular one here, I want 55. And you can leave it all default if you want. For the print speed is 50 is fine. Initial layer 20. I personally like to lower mine to 15. So I'm going to lower mine to 15, but 20 is fine. I like 15. I seem to have a little bit better results with that. The rest of it, you'll just have to kind of learn on your own on the program. All of it's default. One thing we do want to add though is support. Support is going to put a support piece under here so it won't fall. So let's generate support, and the default is 45-degree overhang, zigzag everywhere, and support density 20%. But let's slice it at the default, and we'll see what it looks like. This thing keeps popping up. I wish there was a way to turn that off. All right, so if you're looking at this now, you'll notice that it put the blue is support. If you notice, I always come right to mine and I kind of go underneath. Now I can see from the bottom. This is the bottom of it here. So it is going to put support pieces under here so this doesn't fall. And then when it's all done, we just peel these off. But it's also going to put support under here. And in this example, it is out so little bit that I don't want it to be there. So there's a couple different things that we can do. First one is I also don't want the support coming up here. I only want it right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go to my support, change my overhang to 65%. And we'll start there. Click slice. And I'll show you what that does. So if my overhang 65% is going to pull this in. Whoops. Hold on. It's going to pull this in a little bit right here. I only really want it to just be right underneath of the flat part right here. But it's coming up a little past. So I'm going to come back here and change my overhang to 75%. Again, this is all preference. However you choose, you're more than perfectly fine to leave it all default, and it will probably work just fine. So as you can see now, just kind of move it around. It's going to be flat, pretty good. So it's going to be flat there. There's good. Go back up here. There's good. So those supports are going to be really good. There's a bunch of different settings you can do with the supports. Feel free to read up on those. One thing here is these supports are pretty much going to be useless. So what we don't want, I personally don't want them. That's because of the overhang of the name here. So I'll come back to prepare, and in Cure, there's a thing here called support blocker. And what you do is you click on it, make sure this is highlighted. Whoops. Let me come back to that now. Here. Make sure that your piece is highlighted. Click on support blocker, and then you're going to click and put a block right here. And I'm going to use my right mouse button and turn this. And I'm going to put another block here, 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 all the way down. It's just how it kind of has to be. There's a little space right there. I want to make sure that it's not going to be in the way, but I could put another one right there if I want to. So what I want is my support to not be on the bottom here, but I still want it to be here. So none of these blocks, if I go to the bottom, none of these blocks I want coming inside of here. So in other words, I have it on move. If I click one of these blocks, you don't want your support block in here, because if you do and you slice it, it's not going to do some of your support. So as you're going to see in a second here, see where my support blocker stopped? I rolled it in too far and it stopped doing my support there. So let me pull it back out, and I'm going to reslice it. And it's all good. However, if you notice, I missed a couple spots here. They're still doing support. So I'm going to come back to prepare, and that's odd that it missed it because it's actually on it. I'm going to do another one, support blocker here, here. Huh. Surprised that it actually did because it's sliced. Whoops. Let's see again. Maybe I made it too high. Let's see. No. Yeah. So it looks like I missed it right there. Whoops. Prepare. So let's add another one. Let's click this, support blocker, and I want support blocker right there, slice. preview. Now, I don't think it's actually going to do the support there, even though even though it looks like it's going to. Don't think it's gonna. So if I click prepare and come back, if you'll notice, I have it pretty well covered. So we'll and if you're not sure, just delete them all. We'll delete a couple of them here that we might think be a problem, and I'm going to reslice it. So as you can see, this is you're going to take a couple extra minutes to get this straight. Preview. There's the 2 spots right there. I'm going to go back to prepare. Select my piece. Support blocker. Oops. Support blocker. 1, 2, 3. Here. And I'm going to click this one. I'm going to move it down, slice it, and see where that gets me. Preview. Oh, same thing. I don't think it's going to print those, but if it does, it's only a little anyway. So there's that. Let's go ahead and go from here. So basically what you're going to do now is you're just going to look around, make sure you got your support right, everything's good. Everything's good from there. Make sure you have it on standard quality if that's what you want, and you're going to save it to disk. Saving it to disk, just save it to a specific folder that you use. Let's see here. Here's my folder here. Usually it'll be like your downloads. I'm going to just put save, and you save it. And then what you're going to want to do at this point is now you're going to want to save it to your micro drive. Let me go grab mine. Okay, so let me switch your screens here. So I put in my USB drive. This is it here, and I'm going to now navigate over to, and it's my G drive. So I'm going to navigate over to where I actually saved the files at, which happens to be this folder. So wherever you save yours at could be your download folder. You're looking for the G code. You're going to right click, copy, come over to your USB drive, right click, and go to paste. And now that it is here, now we're going to remove the drive and put it into the 3D printer and print it just like we did the sample file. You're just going to go to print on the print menu, and you're going to choose the file, and then just push print. Or actually just choose the file. Remember, in our program here, this is where, if you come up to here and you go, let's go back up, the infill, the material, the printing temperature, build plate temperature, the print speed. This is where we tell the machine everything we're doing. So once you put the USB card inside the machine and you choose your file, there's really nothing more you need to do with it unless you have to make any minor adjustments. Otherwise, this is where you dictate all of your stuff at. So I'm going to go ahead and print that, and we will see how it comes out. Okay, now that it's completed, let's go ahead and when you let it cool, your build plate, it should just pop right off, and this is what you should end up with. And as you can see, right underneath of here, there are some supports that we had printed. I get a couple different tools that you can pick them off with. I got also, cutters, and then some small needle nose. But and if you can see, it built supports here for, so it doesn't, fall. So it comes out nice. And what you do is we have to pop them off. So I usually put something in there and just kind of wedge it a little bit. Same thing on this one. Whoop, that one just popped right off, as you can see. Came up nice and pretty. Let's try this one. Not so much. Some are easy to get off, some are not. Some you got to work with. So this one didn't actually set perfect as it should had. So this one I got to work with a little bit. That one came off, and you may have to scrape inside a little bit. Also, you'll notice there is some little string in here. Just take some of that off. You may have to do a little sand in here and there, clean ups on some of your stuff. I also like to go into the different slots and the different holes and make sure that there's no buildups, things that are not supposed to be there. Same thing with the top. But otherwise, it looks really good. There's actually, this is not true. There's a little bit of stuff in here, if you can see. You may have to pick any extras that it had in there out, which it's just minor stuff, if you can see that. There's almost always a little bit of cleanup to it, but that's the most part. And it actually did put a little support right there, if you can see that little piece there. Put it there, and I don't like that. So, same thing. My nail just popped, it actually just comes right off. So there you have it. There's a little piece right here. Oh, that's the piece that came off. So there you have it. There's the piece. And I'll show you how it goes on the machine right now. Okay, this is the top part of your 3D printer. Basically, this is just going to slide right on the end here, right onto the top rail. So what you're going to do is pull off the cap, the end cap here, and then you're going to put it right on there. And sometimes it's easier to go in on an angle at first, and then you know, squeeze it on there. You may have to put it on and take it off to loosen up a little bit. As you can see, it's a little tight. And, you know, again, you may have to clean some of the insides, but for the most part, it should slide right in there. And put it on. And then once it's in there, then you can get your other additional little pieces. Put your tools in there. Very nice. Put your holder. That you can paint this front green if you choose to, and that's pretty much it. It's really not much more, as you can see. I'm going to just move this up here for you. Really simple, and that's it. If you have any problems or any questions, let me know, and see if we can help you out.
Jungle.